Baseball takes us from snowy Kansas City to frigid Detroit, Michigan, where the high temperature may not reach 40 today. The Royals begin a 3-game series with the Tigers. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. So far, the Royals have had one good start, one bad start. Jason Hamill goes today. What are his keys for this season, Hud?
Well, Hamill, number one, has to stay healthy. They really need his help to stay in that rotation. Now, the other important thing is if you're 6'6", use the north and south angle. That means up and down. Use that top part of the strike zone, the bottom part, especially with that breaking stuff. If you having the ability to repeat his delivery is important for him. Again, at that height, a lot of arms and legs, tough to keep it going. He can. He knows how important, though, to maintain his tempo. Use that spectacular defense you have behind you. That means keep it up, get the ball, pitch it, throw it, no posturing around the mound. If he can do these things, watch out. He's up for a good season.
Offensively, the question for Mike Moustakas was, when he signed late, how long would it take for him to get his timing? How about right away?
They were more surprised with the start he's had. He was short, he's compact, his swing is looking good. 3 for 8 so far. Extremely productive. A double in the first triple in 3 years. He looks good. Watch out, the Moose is calling.
And he'll be swinging in cold weather again today in Detroit. The Royals and Tigers are both hoping for win number 1. 9 of their last 11 at Comerica Park. Jason Hamill for the Royals, Francisco Liriano for the Tigers. The first pitch is next. Sun is out and there is very little wind. There's just a gentle breeze blowing in from left center field. So that will help as the Royals begin a 3-game series with the Tigers, and the weather will be a question mark for all 3 games. Here's Ned Yost's lineup. He'll have Paulo Orlando back in center field. Jorge Soler will be the designated hitter today. So Cheslor Cuthbert will be on the bench for the first time this season. And the Royals are hoping to start early, as they did in the first 2 games in the White Sox series. Our Kubota Power Stats. And the Royals scored 6 runs in the first 2 games in the first inning. And that included 4 on opening day and then 2 on Saturday. So far, however, the Royals have not been able to turn that into a win. Royals have played well against the Tigers lately. They won the season series last year, 11-8. And they've now won the season series from Detroit 4 times in the last 5 seasons. And again, they've won 9 of their last 11 here at Comerica Park. Tigers are 0-3 as they take the field. They had a strange series with the Pirates. Opening day was postponed on Thursday, so they played on Friday. Then they were postponed again on Saturday, so they played a day-night doubleheader against the Pirates yesterday. So it was a long day, it was a late night for Detroit, and now the quick turnaround for the day game today. And here's a familiar face, Francisco Liriano, who is now 34 years old. He spent last year with the Blue Jays as a starter, and then he was traded to the Astros and was used out of the bullpen.
Yep, he's a veteran who knows how to pitch. At one point, he threw hard like most of them did at a particular time, but he's got an excellent pitch. His changeup, his slider combination, but the fastball he's going to use that pitch to set up the others, and that's going to be his bread and butter. But you don't get to him early. Don't let him have any confidence going, and the Tigers keep him down. And like you were saying, they've had a rough first opening of the season, but no sympathy cards being sent to
Not one?
Not one. Here we go. Tigers defense, they're not too bad. Now, Matuk is out there in left field. And Martin is center fielder. He's a veteran guy, probably just a stopgap type player, not in their rebuild plans for sure, but he's a veteran. Castellanos, they moved him from third to right field. Kid Goodrum's a nice looking utility type player. And Cabrera, he's raking at first base. McCann has a cannon. He's a good catcher.
Tom Hallion is the crew chief in his 26th year as a Major League umpire. Phil Cuzzy at first, a 20-year veteran with Dan Bellino at second base, and Adam Hammery is at third. Here's John Jay, and the first pitch of the game is over the inside for a strike. John Jay singled in the first inning, both Thursday and Saturday. And he's been exactly what the Royals have wanted so far as a leadoff man. He is 3 out of 5 leading off innings.
Nah, it looks really good. Has a nice, short, quick swing through the path, taking his hands right to the ball, spraying the ball all over. He's selective too. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. That's what you like to see. He's going to milk the count.
Slider's a little bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Remember how Bruce Chen used to chew his gum with confidence? Same way John Jay. Check him out. I've noticed. He's like, you know what? Let's play ball. It's time to go. Throw me a pitch I can hit. Yeah, a lot of guys be hacking at that. That's elevated. It looks good when it's elevated. Making Liriano throw some pitches. 3-2 now. Let's see if he can win the at-bat.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the leadoff hitter, a lot like, you know, the pitcher, he sets the tone for the offense. You know, the starting pitcher for the opposition does too. If he can get an early count out, it gives him confidence. And now you get a good at-bat first time up. Worked. Nicely done.
So 6 times John Jay has led off an inning for the Royals, and 4 times he has gotten on base. That's the story of Francisco Liriano. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks, a lot of pitches. And if you go back to the beginning of 2016, he has the highest walks per 9 innings in the major leagues. And I mentioned that when he was with Toronto last year, they used him as a starter. Merrifield takes a strike. And then when he was traded to the Astros, he pitched out of the bullpen, and he made 5 relief outings in the postseason, 2 in the World Series. But with the Blue Jays, as a starter, he averaged fewer than 5 innings per start. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Get that pitch count up.
So the moment he takes the mound, the bullpen is involved.
Especially if you can rough him up in the first inning, get him a little bit nervous out there in that pen.
Witt was 1 for 8 in the Chicago series, and that base hit was his first at bat of the season. Out to Castellanos in right field. He'll make the play. Castellanos in the Tigers organization has been bouncing back and forth between the infield and the outfield, and was sent back to the outfield last year when the Tigers made that trade with the Cubs and picked up Jeimer Candelario, who's now their everyday third baseman. So 1 on, 1 out, and now Mike Moustakas, who had 3 hits and 2 extra base hits in the White Sox series. A little bit high for ball 1.
Moose got the glasses on. Big help. It's a glary day. Some light clouds, which brightens the sky even more.
1-1. Right down the middle with a fastball at 90. Liriano doesn't have the velocity He once had as a young pitcher with Minnesota, and his manager was Ron Gardenhire, so they are reunited here in Detroit. But at one point in his career, he was anywhere from 95 to 97. He could really run it up there with that wicked slider.
Yeah, it seems like to me he's been around a long time. Moose, it depends on where it is. He'll go with the pitch now. I mean, if it's away, he'll try to shoot it over that way. But if you give him something middle in, he'll take a shot at right field here. And right field at Comerica, ball really flies out. It's 330 down the right field line, but even with the slight breeze coming into the ballpark here this afternoon, Moose can slice that with no problem.
Two and two.
That's a nice catch by the young man in the camo hat.
You could hardly see him.
Yeah, that's right. He made a nice grab.
Stockus fouls off another pitch.
Hey, check it out. It's just straight back. He reaches over. Had to reach over the rail. No problem. He's in mid-season form.
With a KC camo hat, no less. There you go.
There you go. Moose. Gave him a souvenir. I like it. I haven't seen a lot of pitches.
John Jay is running, so an out at the plate and a nice scoop by Goodrum, the shortstop, and it's a strikeout, throw him out, double play. Jason Hamill will make his first start of 2018 when we come back. Backs. And now back in the American League Central. Completely different Tigers batting order compared to opening day last year. No JD Martinez, no Justin Upton, no Alex Avila, no Ian Kinsler. The Tigers are in a deep rebuild, and they started dealing those players away all throughout last season, and then Kinsler during the offseason. Jason Hamill had a career-high 32 starts, a career-high 180 in a third innings last year, and he was 8-13 with an ERA over 5.
Yeah, he'd like to work on that. He'll tell you that, you know, he really had a a rough first half of the season in the Royals uniform, and he kind of settled in the rest of the way after that. But his fastball, slider, curve, changeup, he's got all four. His slider has been his strikeout pitch, at least it was last year. 63% of his strikeouts were on the slider. It's not overpowering. It's going to go, low 90s. Likes to use both sides of the plate. Talked about in the open about how, at 6'6", you're going to keep him north and south, right downhill. You see the infield there all pulled over. You got Duda, Merrifield, Escobar, Moose. Trying to got the infield covered on the ground.
1-2 on Leonis Martin. And Hamill stays pitching exclusively out of the stretch. That was an adjustment he made last year with then pitching coach Dave Island to help him stay more straight and in line with home plate. And he had pretty much immediate results when he made that adjustment. And I think, Hud, 10 years from now, we will not be making a big deal about starters pitching exclusively out of the stretch. It just seems like that's where the approach is going now with pitching. Simpler mechanics. Even some guys in the windup, it's one little movement with their foot and they're immediately in the stretch position.
Yeah, they're finding out that they can have the same amount of velocity by loading up their hips. And what the reason for is if, especially when you're tall, at 6'6", it keeps all the arms and legs intact, and you don't have to go through so much movement. So the game is evolving continually all the time. Changes a lot. But he had problems last year because he was a little bit too closed up, and as a result, the walks were high. Good pitch there. That's where he wants to stay, right there. Over his first 10 starts last season, he had 23 walks in 51 innings. That was a little too high, but that's a good spot. Looks like that's where he wants to finish his pitches there.
That's a heck of a take by the hitter.
I thought so too. I thought he was sure he'd get a swing on that, but if not, how about a call?
So he throws a fastball right by him. One down.
Gotta show you, I like it. It's out of the zone. Good movement on his two-seamer. Nice. Started middle and ended up away off the plate. Defensively, you see Paulo Orlando getting a call out there. This is the most spacious center field in probably baseball. 420 straight away. Wide gaps, so a lot of room to run. And sponsored by our Ford dealers. Duda's over there at first base, looking good. But you got Alex out in left. He knows exactly how to play left field in every ballpark. He's a student of the game of defense. 5 Gold Gloves. Believe it.
Jamer Candelario. And the Tigers got him from the Cubs last year in a trade. Curveball's in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
With Bonifacio out for 80 games this year, what a sign John Jay's been. He's versatile. He could play any position in the outfield. That's Ned Yost kind of player. Versatility, can move. Really helps him when he's coming to make up his lineup. Just foul.
And this right here is probably the Royals' best defensive outfield. With Gordon in left, Orlando in center, and Jay in right. Even though the Royals have been very happy with the defensive progress of Jorge Soler. Alex runs to the line, and it is foul. Jose Soler's really improved too.
I'm sure he has, but we haven't seen much of him.
Nope. Royals are hiding him. They're going to save him when the league is not prepared, and he'll be a secret weapon later in the season.
Hey, one thing I noticed on that foul ball, did you notice the foul ball screens here in this ballpark go all the way down the line there? Alex, the fans don't have to worry about getting clipped by a foul ball down the line. And Alex, he's not going to go diving into the stands. I like it.
That screen goes almost all the way down to the foul pole, but all those fans on the first base side, the same over on the third base side, beyond the dugout, are protected by a, what, 25-foot screen? Candelario hits it into right field, but playable for John Jay, and there are 2 down.
Like he hooked that, got it off the end of the bat.
And now Miguel Cabrera, who's already had a couple of multi-hit games. Last year was not only a forgettable year for the Tigers, it was a forgettable year for Miguel Cabrera. Lowest batting average, RBIs, and slugging percentage in his career, and the second fewest home runs of his career. He went on the disabled list with a groin injury in April. He was suspended after a fight with the Yankees and then missed the end of the year because of some bulging discs in his back.
Yep.
Other than that, he had a wonderful time last season.
Hey, look, I would have been thrilled with those numbers. Now, we're talking about a Hall of Famer. He likes to go to right, but it's not going to work this time.
Running play by John Jay, a strikeout and 2 fly balls to right field, and he gets the Tigers 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first.
And the Tigers, Joel Goldberg down by the visiting dugout, and in the dugout is Drew Butera, and he may know Francisco Liriano better than anyone because back in 2011 he caught Liriano's no-hitter. And we always wonder, superstition, do pitchers get nervous? Drew said that he was so nervous at that point. Late in the game, the opposing catcher said to him, "How you doing?" And he said, "I'm good." But he said on the inside, the heart was beating fast. He just so badly wanted that no-hitter for Liriano. He calls it one of the top 4 moments of his career. Number 1 was 2010, his first ever home run, a pinch hit homer. His dad was there for the first time to watch him in person, so that was against Philly. Then the no-hitter. The number 3 moment was a no-hitter from Beckett that he caught. And number 4 was, of course, catching the final out of that World Series. We remember that as one out here on the jumping catch. And guys, how about this? Only a couple of catchers in Major League Baseball active that have caught more no-hitters than Drew. One is Buster Posey, the other Wilson Ramos.
And Joel, that no-hitter, you know, for some guys, you can just see it coming, you know, like a Clayton Kershaw. Eventually he's going to throw a no-hitter.
Right.
But for Liriano, prior to his no-hitter, his ERA was 9.13. That was the highest in Major League history with at least 5 starts before a no-hitter. as he almost threw one to the wall behind home plate. He threw 123 pitches in that no-hitter, 66 strikes, so barely half of his pitches were strikes.
Huh.
It was his first major league, let me take that back, his first professional complete game or shutout. Hadn't even had one in the minor leagues. And then he went only 3 innings in his next start and gave up 4 earned runs.
Oh.
So, I mean, it truly was an out of the blue no-hitter.
Wow.
1-2 from Liriano to Paulo Orlando. Liriano got a piece of that, and Goodrum's throw is late, so Paulo has an infield single with 1 out.
And Paulo gets a batting average this year. There you go. Now, either way, if he doesn't get a piece of it with his glove, that's cleanly through the middle. That's going right through the middle. But he slowed it down, and just enough for Paulo to get him a leg hit. Perfect.
And now Jorge Soler with 1 on and 1 out. He'll be the designated hitter for the Royals today. Down and away for ball 1.
You know, looking at the slight breeze blowing in, and, you know, center field 420, you would think, wow, no one can go there. But Soler could. If he got a ball up that he could handle, he could cut that teeth and hit over 420. That's the kind of power that he possesses.
He might be the only guy in the field that if he did homer to straightaway center field, that a guy with a lab coat and a cup wouldn't be waiting for him when he crossed home plate.
No question about it. Because today with that little slight breeze, that slight breeze is enough to hold any ball in.
There it is. Deep center field. Not quite enough.
Oh, darn it. I thought we had it set up. So we hit it 410 feet, though. But not quite. I got a little excited. Sorry, partner.
Just to be accurate for our viewers, Hud jumped out of his seat and tackled me.
Because on contact, I thought it was going. But I was wrong. It did cut it down. It knocked it down.
I've been doing this for a long time now, and I think that's the first time that I called a play with my broadcast partner in my lap.
Hey, now. Gosh, I better just stay in my seat here. I'm getting excited. Any ball that goes in the air, I'm thinking it's out of here.
Don't get excited.
Okay, all right.
inning. He is our Kia drive to success. It was not a lost season for him, as his team lost 98 games last year. Castellanos had career highs in games, runs, hits, doubles, triples. He led the league in triples, home runs, and RBIs. And he has excellent opposite field power. Drives that one to center field, but we just saw in the top half of this inning that the ball is not carrying out there. So Castellanos hits it hard but out, and Hamill gets out number one on just one pitch.
Yeah, Castellanos, you know, he's a great young hitter, no question about it. And that ball had some topspin on it too, so it wasn't going anywhere. Right to Paulo. Hamill take the early count out.
Victor Martinez is 0 for 8. He has played in 2 games and had a very similar year to Miguel Cabrera. A down year offensively and some trips to the disabled list. His trips were a little more of concern than for Cabrera. He was on the disabled list twice because of an irregular heartbeat. He was hospitalized twice and then eventually had a procedure to try and help and solve that condition. And he lines it deep into left center field, and Paulo Orlando will not get to this one. Victor Martinez has his first hit of 2018. He has a 1-out double.
Man, he's back. He's got his feet underneath him. Had a nice spring. Healthy. Has a hanging breaking ball. He's seen a lot of those in his life. And yeah, it's a nice little. It's good to see Victor run without a limp. You know, you don't like to pull for the opponent. Man, last few years, you mentioned it. This guy, he's been banged up. Had all kinds of issues. Now, the job for Ron Gardenhire, first-year manager for the Detroit Tigers, is to keep him fresh. That's his goal. You know, you can't let him play every game, because that's the kind of bat he has, a lethal bat. He's a real professional hitter.
James McCann with a runner at second base. The breaking ball is bounced in the dirt. Interesting, even though Jason Hamill had some elevated numbers in some areas, our Toyota League leaders shows us that he was able to buckle down in situations like this as good as anybody in the major leagues. 226 opponents batting average with runners in scoring position. That's the situation right here. And then if you had a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, the league hit just 156 against him.
Yeah, that's what you want. Pitchers know. You strand those runners out there, got a better chance to win the ball game. That's what it's all about.
Martinez will stay at second base. Escobar throws out McCann, 2 down.
Hey, Royals fans, it's not too late to become a 2018 season ticket member. Choose from several packages tailored to fit your busy schedule. All season ticket members will receive an exclusive Salvador Perez bobblehead along with tons of other benefits. Visit Royals.com/STM for more details.
So over 2,000 pounds of benefits.
That's right, several other benefits. Sign up, folks.
Mikey Matuk. Maybe at the end of the year we should do an all HUD team. Remember when John Madden would have the all Madden team and they were just his kind of players? Remember that?
You know what?
So I think Mikey Matuk would be on the all HUD team.
I think he would, but that's a nice compliment, partner. Thank you for putting me in his league, but I'm really not there. But yeah, I think Matuk would, if I can just say his name right.
Both guys.
Yeah.
We might even put Jose Soler on that list.
He's tough. He's an action player. He brings energy, and he's going to take his base. Must have clipped him.
Or the Royals just put him on. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Hamill fell behind 2-0, and not a bad idea to put him on because Matuk not only does well against Hamill, but he played really well against the Royals last year. He hit almost 350 with 3 home runs. So they'll go up against the rookie Nico Goodrum, who's a switch hitter. And he lines it out to Escobar, who plays it on a short hop. And that ends the inning. And the Tigers strand 2 in the bottom of the second.
Play here. Watch how soft this hand is here. Okay, you have to have soft hands to play the middle, but that's a really good shot of it. Watch this. He's going to put his glove there. It's a short hop. Ball sticks in the webbing just like you like it, but if you stiffen up that wrist, sometimes the glove gets hard and he drops the ball, but he soft-handedly saved the run right there. That was huge. Good play on a tough topspin liner. After that play, he deserves to get his first base hit of the year. 0 for 7. Time to check in.
Oh, and 2. Escobar, Butera, and John Jay are coming up. They're going to try and get him with a pitch up. Didn't get it up enough. And Escobar fouls it away. It's been a tough matchup for Escobar over the years. He is just 2 out of 20 against Liriano. And there's his first base hit. He got it by the diving third baseman Candelario. Now it rolls deep. So Escobar does get his first hit. He has a leadoff double.
That's right. Saved a run. Now possibly set up an opportunity to score a run with that first knock at 18. Esky, way to go. High fastball. Just stayed on top. Got the top hand on it. Top roll right by the third baseman. He's on. Nobody out. Got some action going.
So Drew Butera will shorten up and at least try and get a ball to the right side. That skips away from McCann, and Escobar will go into third base standing.
Now get him in. So it changes. Every time a hitter comes to the plate, there's a situation. You talked about it. Nobody out. Runner at second. Move the runner to third base. Now here it comes. A little bouncer. Okay, it changes. Now the Gardenhire's going to keep the infield back. That helps the situation for the hitter. Now he can just put a little ground ball anywhere up the middle. He scores the run. Butera.
He will line it to center field. Martin was shallow, but he's able to make the play. And the Royals, for their third consecutive game. They score first. Butera drives in Escobar.
Fantastic. Well executed so far in this inning. Just how you write it up. Get him on, bounce him over, get him in. Timely.
Slider for a strike to John Jay. He worked a walk in the first inning. Oh, and 2. A little bit outside. John was down 1 and 2 in the first inning against Liriano before working the walk.
Ball didn't miss by much. It's a good eyeball there by John Jay.
Reaches out and hooks it out to Machado at second base, and that is out number 2. Time for the big story. Shohei Ohtani, the pitching and hitting sensation from Japan. He made his first start and beat the A's yesterday in his big league pitching debut. A quality start, 3 runs in 6 innings. He only allowed 3 hits.
It's impressive. I was streaming on my Fox Sport Go app, and I was watching that live. And the thing that impressed me the most was the velocity on his fastball. I had no idea he threw 98, 99, and 100. I was like, wow, because his delivery was so smooth. You know, he looked like a classic drop and drive guy. Used his hips. That's where he generates his power, and it was smooth. It didn't look like that. It was an easy 100. And then when I saw his split finger, I went, uh-oh. If he's got 100 in his split finger, he's going to be devastating this year. Got to work on his breaking ball a little bit. One of the Oakland A's hit a 3-run homer off him, but he looked really good.
Liriano throws it over to Cabrera. That gets Merrifield and ends the inning. But Escobar leads off with a double. Drew Butera gets him home with a sac fly, and the Royals lead 1-0.
There you go, Jason.
The Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Alcides Escobar got on with a double. Drew Butera got him home with a sac fly. Jason Hamill has 2 scoreless innings, and he throws a strike to the number 9 hitter, second baseman Dixon Machado.
Got him a little lead right there. Now let's just see if he can do exactly what he did there to all hitters. strike one. Getting ahead of hitters is really crucial for any pitcher. Gives him a chance to dictate the count, what he's going to throw, and he controls it, not the hitter. You fall behind, the hitter controls it. He's looking for a meatier pitch to hit, put in play.
Lifted to shallow right, and it drops in between Jay and Duda. You can join fellow Royals fans in expressing your creative side at our Paint at the Park event Thursday, April 26th. Enjoy one free drink while following an art demonstration from Pino's Palette in our Hall of Fame pavilion. Create a one-of-a-kind piece to show your Royals pride before watching the Royals and the White Sox. Royals.com/paint to purchase this special theme ticket. I think we have one of the paintings from last year in the booth back home, don't we?
We do. We'd like another one.
Why don't we set up some sort of a contest where, you know, if we have a winner out there, you get to have it displayed in our broadcast booth.
Now, will we get the original, or will they have to make a copy or a print of it? I mean, you know, can we?
Oh no, we don't do copies and prints.
Oh, what we want the real deal.
This is the Fox Sports Kansas City TV booth we're talking about, Hud.
Yeah, all right, man. So we'll keep it in there, and we'll be happy to show it. I mean, I think we should. Last year's we have up, and we put it prominently over one of the greatest statisticians in baseball, Dave Holtzman.
Dave Holtzman.
Yeah. We put it right
He
up
might have
over
been the
him.
one who decided which one got to hang in the booth.
I think so. So maybe we'll run it by him.
Okay, so there you go. I don't know if we get that clearance from the Royals.
Paint in the park. We'll take it. No copy. We want the original. Hamill is not a ground ball pitcher. Therefore, if you're looking for a ground ball double play, it might come by accident. He only induced 5 all season long in 180 innings pitched.
Three 3-0 on Martin. Hamill struck him out with a fastball in the first inning. Will he take a rip on 3-0? Looked like he was taken all the way. Now, 10 years ago, leadoff hitter, 3-0 count. There was no chance that he'd be swinging at that pitch, but those rules have changed.
They sure have. See if he can execute the same pitch. A two-seamer is looking good. It's got some late life to it. It's running away from the hitter. Oh, nice spot.
Wow.
Oh, man. How was that not strike? Look at Hamill. He agrees with us. That's a perfect pitch down right at the bottom part of the strike zone. And, you know, this year, you notice the strike zone. You see it? You see the little square box? And that's a perfect pitch. Right,
wow.
Split the dish right down the middle. And Hamill, he's waiting there, using a little body language to try to persuade Hallion to call it. So I just noticed a little bit of the tempo. This is an important part of the game for Hamill. We mentioned in some of his keys for success for the season, one of them was to have a good tempo. And that means get the ball and throw it. Don't posture and wait around. And so I talked with Cal Eldred before the game, Royals' new pitching coach, about what he thought about Hamill's tempo. And he said, I'm still learning Hamill. You know, I got to get to know the players in spring training. I got to watch them in their bullpen. I got to know how they work in the bullpen. And now I got to watch them during the season. But yes, tempo is very important for the defense to stay on their toes. But Cal's learning as he's watching these guys now this early in the season. Because sometimes when you posture around the mound, it gives a feel to the opposition that you're not confident. Even though Hamill is, he's an experienced guy, but sometimes pitchers don't know they're doing it. That's why you need a little reminder from the catcher or the pitching coach saying, hey, come on now, get back up there and get on there. Don't let them think you're not confident here.
And he gets a strikeout against Candelario. That is his second, and I'll just add to that, Hood. A hitter never wants to feel rushed. And if the pitcher's working with a quick tempo, if a hitter feels rushed, I think that's advantage pitcher.
Really? He's not comfortable. Look at that, though. Perfect. There's a little shot of the strike box that we have there, and we'll continue to have that live in game this year for you. It's new. It's really good. I like it. You can see it's, you know, it's right there, little box there. It's perfect. Now that's the imaginary strike zone, but it gives the viewer a little bit of an idea of where he's trying to get that ball.
Certainly the imaginary strike zone today.
Because he threw it like that. I know. Now,
Cabrera hit a routine fly out to right in the first inning. He has Machado at second base and Martin at first with one out. And he muscles it into left field. Hamill made a good pitch up and in on him, but Cabrera kept his hands inside the ball, and he drives in Machado to tie the game at 1.
well, you know, they're going to pitch him in. That ball's way in. That's around his hands because he's such a prolific opposite field hitter. They're making him do that. So he's smart enough to make the adjustment, and all he needed was a lousy single, and that's what he shot for. He's a Hall of Fame hitter. Look at, you see how far that ball was in on his hands.
Castellanos lined out to center field in the second inning. Good slider down and away. There is a so-called advanced metric which is becoming more mainstream. Batting average for balls in play. And it's a new way to measure really a pitcher's luck. And it just factors in balls in play minus home runs, and then you add sacrifice flies as an at-bat. 0-2 on Castellanos. And for Hamill last year, his batting average when balls were put in play was high. It was .318. So on one hand, you can say, well, he just had some bad luck. On the other hand, you could say, well, maybe he was hit harder than normal, so more ground balls or line drives fell for hits. But that pitch to Cabrera right there, I think you could chalk up to some bad luck. He made a good pitch. It was not hit very hard, but it was just in a good spot. I mean, if that ball's hit 5 feet, 7 feet to the right, it's an inning-ending double play.
Exactly. He made the pitch, and he wants to be able to do the same with Castellanos here, but he's got to be careful because Nick's already had some really good rips on him on some pitches that are up. He's looking for trouble. This guy's got great opposite field pop. Keep it in on him or down out of the strike zone here. Nothing good, 0-2. There you go. Back him off the plate. This young man, he's dangerous if you give him something, anything he can put his bat on.
He has 2 on base right here. Martin is at second and Cabrera is at first.
Come back in there with another two-seamer, see if you can jam him and roll him up into a double play.
He did. And Moustakas throws it in the dirt, and the Royals were lucky to get one out. Moustakas wants to know if Martin was out of the baseline. Instead of going 5-4-3, Moustakas tried to tag out Martin and throw to first. Martin got around him.
Well, Castellanos is a good runner. Last year, he impressed me with his speed. Moose had to take 3 or 4 steps to come in and make the tag, so you would think he might have a complaint. That's way in off the grass there. And the reason why Moose tried to tag him, because I don't think that Moose believed he could have rolled it up the conventional way. So that's what I'm thinking he was thinking. Because Castellanos, he runs good. But it had the right idea. Hamill made the perfect pitch there in that situation. But now you got to face this guy here with runners at second and third. Be careful again. Victor's he's a run producer.
Martinez got his first hit of the season. He doubled to the opposite field in the second inning. One and one. Got a breaking ball when he hit that double. That was a slider. And really didn't look like he made an adjustment on the breaking ball. It looked like he was sitting on the breaking ball.
Now you see where the Royals are defending him. There's a lot of holes out there, especially on the left side. He got his double today to left center field.
Does Drew Butera have room? No, it's back into the third row.
Too bad. They don't like that pop-up out. But this is a big opportunity here. Now, we showed you some numbers of Hamill, how well he's done with runners in scoring position, but especially with 2 outs. This is where he excels. This is an opportunity possibly to win the game. If he can win this at bat here against Victor and not let him knock in those 2 runs, this could be a big turning point for him. Hamill, execute a pitch here. You got 2 strikes on him. Don't give him anything too good. Maybe you can get him to swing out of the strike zone.
Two and two.
So that's a good setup pitch, that high fastball for a curve. Now a big curveball that has a lot of differential in the speed. Maybe can get him to swing and miss.
It is deep in right center field in this ballpark, so there's plenty of room for John Jay, and that's the inning. Tigers tie the game on Cabrera's RBI. Is start number 17 for Francisco Liriano against the Royals, and he's a subject of our sprint trivia question. This is the 4th different team with which Liriano has made a start against the Royals. There are 4 left-hand pitchers, Hud, who have started games against the Royals with 5 or more teams. 4 lefties have made starts against the Royals with 5 or more teams. Slashed foul back into the crowd. 1-1 on Moustakas.
Good swing by Moose. started games by the Tigers against the Royals?
No.
Okay, I missed it.
There are 4 left-handed pitchers who have started against the Royals with 5 different teams. That's jolted to center field, and because of the cold air and the wind, it's run down by Martin, and Moustakas is 0 for 2. Got it? 4 left-hand pitchers who have made a start against the Royals wearing 5 different uniforms.
Okay. I might could help you.
Lucas Duda flied to left in his first at-bat. How about Greg Swindell? No.
How about Jamie Moyer?
Jamie Moyer. That is correct. Jimmy Key. Incorrect. Randy Johnson. Incorrect. All right, those are my 3 early guesses. You're 1 for 1.
Moose had a great at-bat there.
That's Goodrum, the shortstop. He had to cut across because Machado was so deep in right field. 2 outs. Paulo Orlando was on with an infield single in the second inning. Oh, 1. So far, control has not been an issue for Liriano. He walked John Jay to begin the game and hasn't walked anybody since. No. 1-1.
How about Kenny Rogers?
Good.
That work?
You're on fire. You're 2 for 2.
Okay.
Was it the 4th time or the 5th time I read the question to you?
Well, you know, I just had a hard time because I was kind of surveying the field and checking some things out. I was digging Moose's at bat. He was on him. He stuck that ball down the left field line, and it just missed the netting down there. So my mind was in a different place. And you know, I have to really focus on the question anyway because it's sometimes they're hard to get. But I did face both of those left-handers, and I'm just thinking about old lefties, and I use your trick. I get the Major League Baseball standings in front of me. I start looking at teams, and it kind of brings back memories, even though my mind is pretty small.
Lifted to right field, should be easy for Castellanos, and that's the inning. That's the first 1-2-3 inning for Francisco Liriano. tomorrow, and then it was supposed to be Nate Carnes, but our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Carnes had a good spring training and was completely healed from the surgery during the offseason to remove a rib, but he's on the disabled list with right elbow inflammation, so it may be a while because of all the off days and the postponed games. But Eric Skoglund will be the Royals' 5th starter. For now, he is available in the Royals bullpen.
What a bummer.
Oh! Lucas Duda goes up to get the soft liner from James McCann. 1 down.
Nice timing on the leap by Duda. Because sometimes a hitter, he'll hit a changeup to you. That was off the end of the bat. The bat broke, and now Duda, he almost jumped too soon. Okay, he's trying to time it, and he did just enough. That looked like that was a knock all the way. Hamill saying thank you. Good play. Yeah, I feel bad for Carnes. I was excited for him. He was even more excited. He's like, you know what, I feel great. And saw his curveball in spring training drop about 3 feet. And spring training curveballs don't break that much, do they? In that nice little.
Not in Arizona.
And he looked good. But, I mean, I think this injury is something he can work through, and then maybe we can see him out of the bullpen or somewhere.
That's what the Royals are saying, that when he returns, he'll pitch out of the bullpen.
He'd be powerful and strong with that hard heater and that curve. That's all you need is 2 pitches. He could find himself a spot out there.
One ball and 1 strike on Mikey Matuk. One and 2. Matuk was ahead in the count 2-0 in the 2nd inning, and the Royals decided to put him on with an intentional walk. Slider down and away, strikes him out. And that is number 3 for Hamill.
Hey, Mizzou fans, here's your chance to show your Royals and Tigers pride for all to see. Purchase your themed ticket at royals.com/Mizzou for an exclusive Royals cap featuring the Mizzou logo and colors. Cheer on both of your favorite teams on Friday, April 27th as we celebrate Mizzou Night. Presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and Raleigh House.
Nico Goodrum was a big out for Hamill in the 2nd inning. Hamill had just intentionally walked Mikey Matuk, and then Goodrum lined one up the middle with a runner in scoring position. The Royals were shifted as they are right now with Escobar behind second base, and Escobar made a nice play on a short hop for the final out.
Sure did. This young man here, he's a good pickup for the Tigers. Ron Gardenhire. He came from the Twins organization. You see, they believe he's going to pull the ball. You see how they got him all spread out on the right side there. He's was a 2nd-round pick for the Twins. Good athlete. Gardenhire, he knows a little bit about the Twins because he spent a lot of time in his career there. And he had his eye on this kid. And last year, Nico Goodrum had a solid year in Rochester, AAA. He spent a full season down there, and he got to play 7 different positions. As you see, Gardenhire in his 14th year. And 7 different positions. So he's perfect for a utility role for these guys to sit in here.
We saw his big league debut last season in Minnesota, September call-up. You mentioned, Hud, he was a 2nd-round pick, but it took him a while to get to the big leagues. He was in his 8th professional season when he was called up for the first time.
Kid like this is ready. You spend that much time in the minors, you know how to play the game, and he's ready to show the world what he can do. And nice job by Hamill.
The Tigers go down in order, and at the end of 4, we're tied at 1. fifth. Jorge, I'm going to get his name right at some point today. Jorge Soler. Why am I having trouble with that?
That's okay.
No idea. Let's let Joel figure it out. Hi, Joel.
Let's talk about Mitch Meyer, and we'll get back to Soler in just a moment. I think they were playing the Michigan fight song a little while ago here. He might have been singing along. Even though Mitch ended up playing his college baseball at Toledo, he was awfully close to going to Michigan. And the story goes back further than that, because his dad, John, grew up in Ann Arbor right across the street from Michigan Stadium. And when his parents got married, one of their wedding presents was season tickets to Michigan football. His parents now live in Florida, so Mitch is a season ticket holder to Michigan football. And then he was all set to go to Michigan on a partial football scholarship, so much so that his mom had a Michigan cake ready for his graduation party. But they had to cancel that cake because about a week before, he got a full scholarship from Toledo to play baseball. No word on whether there was a Toledo cake, but to this day, Michigan is a big-time passion of Mitch Myers. He's a huge fan.
So he'll be nervous tonight.
He is nervous right now. Maybe not now, but he was this morning. Hopefully baseball can take his mind off of that, but absolutely nervous. And I suppose on the other side, Cam Gallagher, not diehard, but growing up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, he is rooting for Villanova tonight, although he said he already had his fun with his Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Two and two on Soler. He lined to deep center field in the second inning. And Liriano got him with a slider. That is Liriano's second strikeout.
Yeah, I got a feeling that the word is out that Soler and his power and how far he can hit a fastball. And I don't think he's going to see too many fastballs from either side, left-handers or right-handers. He's going to have to learn how to, discipline himself to look in the strike zone for his pitch and lay off the others, or we're going to see a lot of strikeouts this year.
Alex was out on a fly ball to left in the second inning.
And he hit it well.
Yep. 0-2.
Liriano looks pretty good, and I think you'd categorize him as effectively wild, and that's not good. If you tell a hitter you're facing a guy who is effectively wild, that means he's effective, he's wild, he's not in the strike zone very often, but he can get you play fits with your mental side of the strike zone.
Wild enough to make the hitter uncomfortable, but enough control to get the ball into the strike zone when he needs to.
Thank you.
Because there are plenty of guys who are ineffectively wild.
Yep. And they're out of the game because he can't throw strikes. But so you get a guy comfortable and he starts swinging. That's what he's getting. A lot of guys swinging out of the strike zone. Escobar got him a nice double for his first hit of the year. Let's see if he can back it up with another knock.
Up the line,
Oh.
fair. He did. And the ball got stuck up against the side wall, made it a more difficult play for Castellanos. Escobar had his eye on that, and he will go to third with 2 outs.
Double and triple. And the ball got stuck in the wall where it just comes out there where the guy sitting, the guard is sitting there, and Esky can see it all the way. Now watch this, it's going to stick on one of the padding there. Oh, that's a perfect roll. Got him 3 bags. Esky, he'll take it. He was telling me before the game, it's muy frio out here, and it's cold. And he says, I don't like playing in the cold, but he'll take it. He's got his first 2 knocks of the game.
The Kansas City Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Urban Youth Academy with that Escobar triple.
Thank you, Honda.
Escobar doubled in the third inning. Went to third on a wild pitch, and then Butera got him home, and now Drew has a chance to drive in Eske again.
Hey, fantastic. I didn't realize that. Okay, now, when Moose hit his first triple in 3 years, that's when Honda donated $1,000 to the Urban Project, but I didn't realize it on every triple hit. So, man, hopefully the Royals will lead the league in triples this year. That's fantastic.
2-1.
Drew has a chance to drive the bus all by himself right here. Come on. Liked his approach last time up when Escobar was on third base. Got a pitch middle of the plate, and he drove it to the middle.
Machado, the second baseman, goes to the grass, so it's a harmless 2-out triple. 4.5 played. The Royals and Tigers are tied at 1.
Here, it's all knotted up in one apiece. Jason Hamill, he's looking good. He's really mixing his pitches just like Cal Eldred wanted him to. He's doing his breaking ball. He's got an excellent fastball, two seamers working. You can see the fastball, slider, change, curve. Those are his pitches, but using a majority of the fastballs. Changeup looks pretty good, but I tell you, it's the slider and changeup that are really being the most effective to the hitters, both left-handed and right-handed batters. And Cal Eldred, before the game, was telling me about those two pitches, that there's the curve. Yeah, it's got a bigger break to it. There's more depth to it. And the slider is a little bit flatter and doesn't break quite as much, but he really needs a break in the speed, a speed variation difference between the fastball and those two pitches to make them extremely effective. So far, so good. Hamill just needs a little bit of run support, but Liriano of the Tigers is doing an effective job on his side. We've got a little pitcher's duel working here. Just 3 hits apiece from both teams.
Good spot. And to that breaking ball, Hamill really started to have a lot of success 2 seasons ago when he won 15 games for the Cubs, when he started throwing that curveball for a strike. That curveball stayed up, and fortunately, Whit Merrifield was right there up the middle to throw out Machado. Join T-Mobile and score free MLB.TV all season long. Sign up through today at T-Mobile.com/MLB. So Hamill Always had the fastball, always had the slider. The slider was an effective pitch for him, but it was adding the pitch with some more depth, a little different tilt for the hitter. That's what led, he believes, to his 15-win season a couple of years ago. Martin is struck out, and he is walked. And his walk helped set up the Tigers' run in the third inning. This was an area of concern for Hamill last year. It's pretty consistent. First time to the order, second time to the order, but then a big spike in opponent's batting average third time to the order. 2-1.
Well, I like the weather that's cool for him. You're not going to overheat. And I like his pitch count. Just 67 pitches thrown. He's doing a nice job. He's been doing very, very well with hitting his spots and getting some early count outs.
Martin bloops it out into left field. He's on with one out.
Hamill wasn't happy with this one. That slider just stayed up. You could hear him.
Jeimer Candelario. He is 0 for 2. And he struck out on Hamill's slider in the third inning. Outside for ball one.
Now Jeimer, he's going to be a part of the Tigers' rebuild for sure. Young man came over in a trade. He's got a very high ceiling, switch hitter. They like his glove. They believe he's going to be able to hit for power.
Time had been asked for, and Candelario pats himself on the chest, saying, I called for time, and that might have even been a sign of respect, saying, my bad, I didn't mean to do it right before you threw the ball. Hamill did the right thing by continuing to throw, even though time was called. Every now and then a pitcher can injure himself if he tries to stop right in the middle of his throwing motion.
And that's why it's important that home plate umpires don't give him time when he starts his windup. You don't have to. It's all up to the umpire. Now Hallion, he's a veteran guy. He's one of my favorite umpires because I can hear his strike call, and when he has a called third strike, oh, the whole ballpark knows it. Hamill trying to get the ball home as quickly as possible to Butera, just in case Martin wants to try to rip him off. "12 feet is about an average lead." I mean, that's going to hook. 13 feet, anything past 12 feet, you know, that's a pretty good lead, even though some guys don't go. They'll sometimes describe that as a one-way lead. They'll get a maximum lead that you can get to let the pitcher and catcher and everybody know that you're getting a huge lead they might want to steal and then get back safely. So that's called a one-way lead. Some guys do that. But at this point of the game here, 5th inning, you're not going to get a big lead like that for a one-way lead. You're going to try to get a jump and steal a base. Get into scoring position. Tie game 1-1. And if you'll see, that was kind of a...
What was that?
That was a little, hey, I'm going bluff, as he looked like he was running in place to try to trick the middle infielders. Because the middle infielders are the one that's looking at this jump right here. He tried to trick him. So what happens is if the middle infielder sees a trick like that, a guy who like he's running, they'll leave their position to cover second, and it leaves it open for him to hit the ball by there. So that's an effective little ploy he did right there. Or they'll make a quick turn to see if they can get one of the middle infielders off their spot, and then a little roller gets through and they get first and third. It's a strategy game. That's what you do. You're trying to trick each other.
That pitch was up, and Candelario got on top of it. He drives it into left center field. Martin goes to third, and Candelario ends up with a double. And that puts 2 runners in scoring position for Miguel Cabrera.
Okay, Alex Gordon did the right thing. He wants to keep the double play in order. That's a high pitch.
Wow.
that he just really did a nice job of staying on top of. Did Candelario. Alex turns immediately and tries to keep the runner at first base, but just didn't happen.
This is very rare for Ned Yost to make the first trip out to the mound. So you've got an open base. You have one of the world's best hitters coming up. And you have Nicholas Castellanos on deck. And so Ned's probably going out there just to see what the veteran Hamill is thinking. Do we want to walk Cabrera here and hope for a ground ball and a double play, or do you feel more comfortable pitching to Cabrera?
Well, it's possible that's what that was for, but he just showed us right there he's going to put him on. Okay, now Ned also was aware of the numbers that we showed you prior to the inning. When the inning first started, we talked about the third time through how most opponents last year really capitalized on him. They've seen all of his pitches. Obviously, he's been up in the zone with some pitches in this inning. So it's time to keep an eye on him here. Put him on, load him up, have a chance to hopefully get a little ground ball double play. Like Castellanos hit on his last time up, he hit a little ground ball to Moose. Castellanos,
outside.
He hit into 12 double plays last year, so Ned Yost is hoping that he'll be a double play candidate right here.
He hits .362 over his career with the bases loaded. He's had 1 at bat this year and he struck out.
Got to take a chance. You can see his swing. He really stays inside of the ball. He's like Cabrera. He's like Miguel Cabrera. He wants to hit the ball to right field or up the middle. Does not want to pull. That's really a good approach, because if it's a slider or a curveball and you try to pull those, you usually hit them on the ground.
Royals want Tom Hallion to check with one of the base umpires, but he will not. No swing. 2-1 on Castellanos.
Been a couple big opportunities that the Tigers have had, and Hamill has gotten out of it. Executed the pitch on Victor Martinez, had second and third with 2 outs. He made the pitch, popped him up.
Jammed him, but he got it out into left field. 1 runner will be waved home. The Tigers take a 2-1 lead. Martin comes down from third, and now they're loaded up for Victor Martinez.
He's just been up. He's been up in the zone. Now, pitch sequence, that's a great pitch there. You got to keep this ball down. There was 92 in the middle. Keeping it down, keeping it down. Okay, there's the one in. Now, it wasn't a pitch that was a hittable pitch over the middle of the plate, but like the previous balls that were hit in this inning, they were elevated. And for a hitter, that's an easier pitch to get on top of and hit out there than one down low, especially looking for a double play.
Both RBIs for the Tigers have been on identical pitches. Fastballs way in off the plate. Brad Keller is the first up in the Royals bullpen. Now Victor Martinez. And if Hamill could get anything on the ground here, that's about as close to an automatic double play as you can get in the American League.
That's right. Now Victor knows he's looking for the back underside of the baseball. He wants to hit the underside so he hits a sac flyer better. He grounded into 15 double plays last year, and he didn't even play the whole year. That's a lot.
And here's another hitter who's had a great deal of success with the bases loaded. But Hamill's ahead 0-2. With one out, Martin singled, Candelario doubled, Cabrera was intentionally walked, and then Castellanos drove in a run with a single. And that is into right center field and will score 2. Castellanos will go to third, and the Tigers take a 4-1 lead in the 5th inning. So they had the bases loaded with one out, and all 3 runners have scored.
Fastball up. So I'm sure Hamill will tell you, I left some pitches up. If you leave pitches up to hitters like that, they'll make you pay.
First and third, James McCann is at the plate. So third time through. That was an issue last year for Hamill, and now in his third time through today, he has faced 5 hitters and all 5 have reached. He went around. Phil Cuzzy is the umpire at first. McCann isn't very happy about that.
You know, that can take you out of an at-bat very easily, mentally. You get upset at the umpire, you're angry. Get your thoughts off of the pitch and the pitcher, and you're more angry at the umpire. See if it works here.
Back through the middle, and bobbled by Witt, and no outs. That had inning double play written all over it. So another run scores. It is a fielder's choice error 4. And an RBI for McCann. 5-1 Tigers in the 5th inning.
Yep. They let this ball play him a little bit. Looks like he was standing still, and then by the time he was able to find the handle, it was just too late.
If he fields that cleanly, just by running to second base, sets him up perfectly for a throw to first. He's running right at his target.
And lots of times, a fielder will already be making that play in his mind before he catches the ball. You're thinking about your footwork, what you're going to do, and sometimes you forget. Got to catch it first. Whitley knows that.
One and one on Matuk. Hamill intentionally walked him after the count went to 2-0 in the 2nd inning, and then he struck him out in the 4th.
Third inning, he was able to work out of some jams with those 24 pitches. Not so much in this inning here. This came undone.
Escobar, Merrifield 1, And no double play. Martinez goes to third. And McCann is out at second, 2 away. And now Hamill will face the 9th man in the inning, Nico Goodrum. And you mentioned, Hud, that Hamill worked out some jams earlier in the game. He got Goodrum to get out of a jam in the 2nd inning. And Goodrum was also the final out in the 4th.
See how the defense is playing here with 2 outs. They still believe that Goodrum's going to pull the ball. Velocity's good. Location has not been good for Hamill.
Witt wants it. And that's the inning. So Goodrum has made the final out in 3 innings. The Tigers score 4 in the 5th, and they lead 5-1.
Sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew to get your little ones geared up for baseball season. Remember, it includes a Blue Crew jersey, flat bill snapback cap, how about a drawstring bag, 2 compression sleeves, and 2 home game ticket vouchers and much more. Membership is just $30. Sign up now at royals.com/Blue Crew.
You survived your first flat bill snapback cap.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not easy to say.
No, it wasn't. Thank you.
John Jay leading off an inning. That's good for the Royals. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's also our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Angela Wilkinson from Kansas City, Missouri. Pulled on the ground to Cabrera, and he'll go to the bag. So John Jay is 0 for 2 with a walk. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Angela wins $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Angela wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. So Liriano is pitching with a 4-run lead. He has given up 1 run, 3 hits in 5 1/3 innings.
Liriano doing an excellent job Him and James McCann of mixing up the pitches. Not too many fastballs. A lot of change-ups and breaking balls.
Merrifield is on with 1 out. All right, how about our trivia question from a couple of innings ago? For Liriano, this is his 4th uniform in making a start with the Royals. The Twins, the White Sox, the Blue Jays, and now the Tigers. 4 lefties, Hud. 4 lefties in history have made a start in 5 different uniforms against the Royals. You came up with Jamie Moyer and Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
I came up with David Wells, thanks to a hint from the truck.
Okay.
So there's 1 left.
We need another hint probably, because it's, you know, that's a long way back. It could be. Oh man, that's a good hint.
It's a hint.
It's a very good hint.
This guy was a star. Then he was away from baseball. And then he recently returned.
How about I got him, but I can't think of his name. He pitched with the Royals a little bit, didn't he?
Castellanos makes the play in right field, 2 down. No, he did not pitch with the Royals.
I have him.
Well, what do you tell me what vision you have? and I can
Kazmir.
help.
Scott Kazmir. And I thought Kazmir
Look at
pitched
that.
with us. I thought he did pitch with us.
No.
Okay.
He was involved in some heated moments at Kauffman Stadium when he was
Okay.
pitching with the A's.
That's right. Okay, my
He
bad.
was involved in that whole Brett Laurie
Okay.
sliding into Alcides Escobar and Herrera buzzing Laurie's tower. Didn't he hit
Yep.
Lorenzo Cain or something
think
like
so.
that? Yeah. Good
Okay.
job, Hud. You got 3 out of the 4.
Wow. Hey, and I couldn't even get the question for the first 3 times you asked it. Way to be patient with me.
It's okay.
Let's see if the Royals offense can get going here. Whitley just picked up the Royals' 4th hit on that nice line drive single up the middle. And we've got John Jay out and a Moose pop up. Put him in the seats. Let's see if Duda can get him in it.
Was Scott Kazmir ever a star?
He was a.
And then when was he away from baseball?
He was a 3-time All-Star.
Okay.
And he took some time off, if I remember. 1 game in 2011 and none in 12.
Okay. There's a lot of foul ground in this ballpark.
Blow wind.
And it's off the screen.
Give him another shot.
I think he was just released by the Braves recently.
Had a nice long career,
Yeah.
though. He did a good job. 26 starts last year with the Dodgers. Got himself a National League Championship ring.
Sounds like you're working on his biography.
No, I have my Scott Kazmir statistician in my ear. He's
Okay.
helping me out.
Inside on Lucas Duda. 3-2 with 2 outs. So Merrifield will be running on this pitch.
Expect a heater. See if you get one. Straight fastball. You're expecting it. Doesn't always happen.
Out to Machado in shallow right field. And that's the inning. To the bottom of the 6th, the Tigers lead 5-1. Well, our Pepsi fan of the game might be ordering a Pepsi at Comerica Park. It's a cold day with temperatures in the 30s at first pitch. And it's not supposed to get much better tomorrow or Wednesday. But that is baseball in the upper Midwest in April.
Yep.
Chevy call to the bullpen. Brad Keller takes over for Jason Hamill. He'll pitch to Dixon Machado. Machado started the 5th inning with a ground ball to second, so it's a good start for Hamill. And then the next 6 Tigers reached, 4 of which scored, and they lead 5-1. Machado is 1 for 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Make that 1 ball, 1 strike. Duda is over near the tarp, and it's in and out of his glove. And you could tell from the very beginning that he was concerned about that tarp.
Well, you know, that's where it depends on how high the ball's hit. You have time to look and see where you are. Now, see, he didn't get a good look there. He just looked down, and he didn't get a good look, and it hit on a cold day in his palm. And that's a good recipe for a drop ball. Best I could describe that.
As soon as it was hit, you know, he kind of looked at the tarp, and you can't blame him. I mean, he's big. That tarp is going to be down around his knees. And I've seen many collisions with the tarp over the years. And to the best of my recollection, Hud, the tarp is undefeated.
Exactly right.
Machado grounds out to Merrifield for a 2nd time today. 1 down. Let's go to Joel.
It's always fun to talk to the young guys when they go on their first Major League Baseball road trip, because it is set up for all the amenities. Just go out and play. So I said to Brad this morning, how was your hotel? First night on the road, he said, as soon as I got to my room, I got a text from Brian Flynn, said, what do you think about the room? He was obviously very impressed. And going back to last year, he said 4-hour bus rides in AA were the shortest bus rides that they had. 8 hours was the average. You might have to get to the stadium to begin a trip at 4:30 in the morning, and the lodging was typically something like the Days Inn. So needless to say, staying at the fancy hotel in the Detroit area, charter plane, and all that comes with it, Brad Keller is a very happy rookie right now. He said it is favorite stop in the minor leagues was Kane County because the game would end, and this was after Kane County was a Royals affiliate, but he was pitching for Kane County, and the guys would just hop on the train, which was right by the stadium, and be able to at least go into Chicago. But for the most part, these guys coming up through the minor leagues, Hud, you remember it, a lot of long bus rides and not a lot of thrill and glory. So to be here in the big leagues, big time perks.
Goldie, you are correct. And, you know, the game changes. We talk about it all the time, but unfortunately for the minor leaguers, that part doesn't. Early flights, 4:30 wake-up calls, 6 o'clock flights, long bus trips, and a big hang with them. But you never know. Maybe one day you can be in the big leagues. Be a star like you, Joel. But this young man, I saw him in the hotel last night, and I hadn't had a chance to introduce myself to him. He had a huge smile on his face. He looked at me. He was happy. You could tell, just like Joel was saying. And there's nothing better than being a big leaguer. And he's getting a prominent start now. I mean, an opportunity here in this bullpen here. You know, 6'5", 230. The guy's got some skills. He's got 90 to 97, 4-2 seam fastball, and a couple of 1-2-3 quick outs. He'll get another shot soon. Nice job.
He's pitched the 6th inning twice in his big league career, and both times 3 up, 3 down.
Clean inning.
A 1-1 tie going into the bottom of the 5th inning. This is Nicholas Castellano, jammed, but he gets it into left field and drives in a run. Victor Martinez with a line drive into right center. That scored 2. And the Tigers would add another run on an error. So they got 4 in the 5th inning. Taysom Hamill gave up 5 runs, 7 hits over 5. Francisco Liriano, in his Tigers debut, has given up 1 run in 6 innings. He has only walked 1. That's always a big item for him. And that was against the first batter of the game, John Jay, and no walks since. There's a nice catch by a fan in the 2nd row behind the Royals dugout.
Yeah, you know what? Liriano, he's doing a fine job in his first start in a Tigers uniform. And that's you know, they don't have a win either. They're looking for one. He knew this was a big opportunity for him. So far, he's answered the call. Let's see if they can get him out of the inning here. Royals can put some pressure on him, get to their bullpen. They do have a Joe Jimenez sighting out there loosening up. Time to pressure, but get a couple guys on and hit one out of here.
2-1 on Paulo, who is 1 for 2 with an infield single.
But obviously, Liriano, he takes good care of himself because he's been around as long as he has been, but he's still throwing low 90s.
Backdoor slider, 2-2. He was part of a trade that really changed the direction of the Minnesota Twins. On the ground to Machado, and his manager at the time is his manager now, Ron Gardenhire. Very similar to the trade that brought Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain to the Royals. You take a good veteran player, trade him away for some young players that really help the team in the future. And for the Twins, they had A.J. Pierzynski, and they traded A.J. Pierzynski to the Giants. They got Francisco Liriano, who was first signed as an outfielder and had just made the transition to pitching.
Oh.
They got Joe Nathan out of the deal. Joe Nathan was a starter who had just moved to the bullpen and became the Twins' all-time saves leader. And they also got Boof Bonser. Remember him?
Yeah.
He had some nice years for Minnesota.
Yeah,
So a
name.
player that was on his way out. He was a year away from free agency, and Pierzynski only had 1 year with the Giants and really didn't do much. But that was not only a good trade, but a well-timed trade, as Liriano and Nathan and Bonser, for that matter, were part of that long Minnesota run.
Yeah, good deal by the Twins.
Soler has lined to center and struck out. Liriano overthrew that pitch, and it landed 5 feet in front of home plate.
Wow, you can see the divot where the ball landed. I'd say he missed. He's been pretty consistent with his pitch count.
Three and one.
Yeah, I'm watching Gardenhire with my binoculars. He took a couple of peeks down there at the bullpen. Although he's got an out. Get out of this one here. That was a good swing on a pitch that was up in the zone.
That is low for a walk, and only Liriano's second. Create moments you'll remember forever with the Royals Memories program. Download the MLB Ballpark app to choose from unique experiences that give you access to the field. Watch batting practice next to the pros, deliver the game ball to the mound, or take in a fireworks show from the outfield grass. See a full list of experiences on the Ballpark app on your mobile device. Alex hits it to the gap in right center field, and it's run down by Martin.
Too bad. Nice stroke by Alex. You know, and just before that pitch, I was watching Dave Clark, who's the outfield instructor for the Tigers, and he moved Martin to that way to the gap. So good move by Dave Clark. Kept an extra base and possibly a run off the board.
Well, the Royals have a runner at first with 2 down, and they're down by 4. But Ron Gardenhire, with Liriano at 94 pitches, says that's enough. So he gets a nice ovation as he heads to the third base dugout. And Joe Jimenez is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Liriano had a 5.66 ERA last year as both a starter and a reliever. He didn't look like that guy today, allowing 1 run in 6 2/3 innings. He only walked 2, and he's still responsible for Soler at first base with 2 down.
Yeah, but you know, you got to be impressed with the fact that he was able to stay in the game. He executed some pitches when he needed to. Use his defense to strike him out, throw him out in the very first inning. That was a huge mental boost for him.
Jimenez comes in at 93 miles an hour. He pitched in 24 games last year in his first year in the big leagues, making his big league debut in April. And he's a product of the Tigers farm system. 0-2 against Escobar.
The Tigers have some issues in their pen to figure out as well, where they're going to be slotted and all that stuff. But you know, this guy here is 22, 23 years old, 6'3", 220, good fastball, mid-90s, good slider, changeup. He's got a nice future ahead of him. Don't look at that 12 ERA from last year, because when you get to the big leagues, that happens. Humble pie awaits all.
Nice save by McCann.
Okay, now he knows the breaking ball's coming, but he didn't expect it to be that far outside, and he didn't backhand it either. He kept it in front, turned his thumbs out, did the best. That's good maneuvering there.
2-2. Escobar was hitless in the Royals White Sox series, and now today he has doubled, tripled, and he has scored the only Royals run. Hit a couple of balls up the lines today. His double was up the left field line, and then his triple was up the right field line. And now lifted to center. Martin makes a play, so Jimenez comes on and gets the final out. It is stretch time in Detroit, and the Tigers lead 5-1.
Show you here to BNC Park in Pittsburgh, and Colin Moran, excuse me, Colin Moran, grand slam for Moran. He'll take it. Second in his career. Pretty nice. Balder, he's hit a few. There he is. He's not real happy about that, though. This guy, Lance Lynn, gave up a slam.
Chesler Cuthbert takes over at first base in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, you hope dude is okay. Blaine Boyer's in. Threw 30 pitches against the White Sox. He'd like a do-over. Couple hits, one was a big fly. He's got a hard sinker. Sinker slider.
He'll get the middle of the order. Fastball down and in the strike zone to Cabrera. He tied the game with a single in the 3rd inning. And then he was intentionally walked and he scored in the Tigers' 4-run 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Castellanos is on deck, followed by Martinez.
Boyer 6'3", 225. Fearless. Comes right at hitters. Just got to be careful a little bit. Too much in the zone. Ooh, good spot there. Hallion's not given the low part of the zone.
Both sides.
Yep. Wasn't it a year ago, or maybe it was 2 years now, that they wanted them to call more low strikes or not call low strikes?
Well,
what was it?
It was.
And then I didn't see much of a difference.
It was 2 off. Well, it was 2 seasons ago at the end of the season that there was some talk about last year they would call fewer low strikes.
Okay.
Which in my mind was a terrible idea, but I didn't see any difference last year.
No, I didn't either. But I'm thinking, you want to speed the game up?
Right.
Call more strikes.
Merrifield throws out Cabrera. And if you think of the strategy behind it, I mean, what is every pitcher trying to do against power hitters? Keep the ball down.
So they can't lift it.
So you take the low strike away, then the power hitters say, well, I don't even have to swing at that pitch now. I mean, that would be a terrible disadvantage for the pitchers. I mean, that's one where I really tried to think, okay, where's the benefit of that? And I couldn't come up with it.
Right.
I mean, you want to reward pitchers for being able to put the ball in the strike zone down to a point where the hitters think, you know, I got to swing at this because it's a strike. Well, if it's no longer a strike, then they're not going to swing at it. And as you've pointed out a few times today with pitches thrown by Jason Hamill, that when you're up in the zone, even if you make a good pitch and you're up in the zone, you can have some problems. I mean, Hamill's given up a couple of RBI singles today to Cabrera and Castellanos that were up and in and out of the strike zone. And a pitcher, you think, if I could get him to swing at this pitch, that's good for me. But because it was up, they're able to bloop him out into left field. Just got word that Lucas Duda came out of the game with right hamstring tightness.
Cold weather doesn't help it. Got to stretch out, keep it warm. Cuthbert might get him a start tomorrow.
Two and one on Castellanos. John Jay sprints in from right. The wind was working against him, and it hits his leg and ricochets to the tarp. So Cuthbert, the Royals' first baseman, has to go get it. And it's a stand-up triple for Castellanos. And he led the league last year in triples.
Well, largely because this ballpark here is really conducive to triples, but I don't know how many he got like this. That's a little doinker down the right field line. Boyer made a pretty good pitch, and he doinked it out there, and Jay kicked it on the attempted catch. Nice try by Jay, but didn't work.
In case you're wondering, Hud, and I know you are.
Yes, I am.
The last Tigers third baseman to lead the league in triples was the great Ossie Witt back in 1916.
Huh.
He had 12. 0-1 on Victor Martinez with Castellanos at third base. Ossie Witt.
I was wondering.
Yeah. If I remember, he had a good arm, and he was an excellent bunter.
Hard to button your way onto a triple, though. Infield's in. Let's see if Boyer, who's kind of a sinker slider pitcher, can get it done. There, Victor got him a pitch he wanted.
And Victor, who had a double in the second inning, had our GMC drive of the game with a 2-run single in the 5th inning. Jammed him and he pulled it foul. Drilled to the gap in right center field, and Paulo Orlando runs it down, but Castellanos could walk down from third if he wanted to, and Victor Martinez has driven in 3 of the Tigers' 6 runs.
Let's go back to the 4th inning and watch Lucas Duda make this leaping play here. Okay, let's see if maybe this wasn't a reason his hamstring got a little bit tight. Okay, he comes down. Look at him. He's kind of stretching a little bit. Looking for, hey, you know what? I'm not used to jumping that high. You never know. And then, of course, he had a little run-in with the tarp over there where he dropped the ball. I mean, whenever you're stopping and starting quickly, you know, at this time of year, in this cold weather, sometimes it'll grab you. And better to say something when you feel tightness than when you feel the pop. Because the pop is not good. That means you're done for a while.
It's a game where there are a lot of hamstring injuries. There are a lot of lower back issues because you can go from just standing around and doing nothing for 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever, and then all of a sudden you got to hit at full speed, whether it's a jump like Duda or running a ball in the gap, whereas every other sport there's constant movement. You're able to keep your body loose, and then you factor in that it's in the 30s today, so those muscles aren't loose as it is.
Yeah, I like to talk about in baseball, you train in the off season for fast twitch muscle movement. I mean, quickness, quick bursts when you throw the ball or when you take off running or you start and stop. Unlike other sports, basketball, you rarely see a hamstring injury because they're all moving the same speed. Yeah. There's not any really quick burst of speed.
Right.
You know,
hockey, don't hear about a lot of hamstring injuries in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer.
Right. So, you know.
Hockey is the least specific of all the sports. You get an injury and they say, yeah, he's got some soreness somewhere between his hair and his toenails.
That's right.
3-2. Still 3-2 on McCann. He picked up an RBI in the 5th inning when he reached on an error by Merrifield. Back on the air tomorrow, same time, with our coverage beginning at 11:30 back in KC, and Jacob Junis will make his season debut against lefty Matthew Boyd. Pass Escobar and pass Merrifield, and McCann has his first hit of the day.
You're doing pretty well if you can sneak a ball by both infielders who are playing him to pull there.
Here are the starters for tomorrow and Wednesday. Junis had a nice spring. And then Danny Duffy will go up against Daniel Norris. And those two lefties for the Tigers are an important pieces for their rebuild. They got both of those pitchers in a trade for David Price the year the Royals won the World Series. Got him from the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's Matuk, and a slider's in for strike one. Matuk has walked. He has struck out. He is 0 for 2. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, they figured he's going to pull the ball.
Still 1-2 on Matuk. Matuk last year hit .345 against the Royals with 3 home runs. Two and two.
Boyer's a grunner. Talk about fast switch muscles, and, having to deliver that ball with one quick burst of body movement. Sometimes that happens. We see grunners in tennis because they're going, they're doing that same thing.
Did you hear that when you were hitting?
No. Although I remember a couple of guys that were louder than that you did hear at some particular point. In the minor leagues, it's a lot different. Major league, I never remember hearing a grunner, but in the minors, you could hear them. And I remember hitting a rope somewhere, and I'd go, ah, right back to you.
Moustakas throws out Matuk. The Tigers add a run, and out the end of 7. Detroit's lead is 5. Ford, going further so you can. In the Motor City, speaking of Ford, Tigers lead 6-1, and the Royals are coming up with 6 outs to go on offense. And if you're looking for some hope for the Royals, the Tigers had by far the worst bullpen ERA in the major leagues, as in 81 points higher than the next closest team. They gave up the most home runs as a group in the American League. Their overall ERA was the highest in the major leagues. 5.63 as a group.
You're not going to win many games.
No. And they didn't. The Tigers finished with 98 losses, and that tied the Giants for the most in the major leagues. How quickly things can change. 5 years prior to that, Hud, the Tigers and the Giants were playing each other in the World Series. And then 5 years after that, they both have 98 losses.
Yeah, I mean, worst to first, first to worst. It happens in baseball quickly, especially in this nowadays. Joe Jimenez, though, I didn't exactly get his vitals exactly right. He is 23 years old. He's 6'3". He's 272, and I said he's 220.
Yeah, but what's his blood pressure?
Is his vital? Is that vitals that go under vital? I don't know his vitals or blood pressure, but
okay.
There they are.
All right.
There's his vitals. Yeah,
he's
a large man.
White cell count?
I don't know. I hope it's good. He's a big guy. Throws hard. Now I have him listed. You know that he throws 98. He's got that kind of arm. They're hoping he ends up being a setup man or even better.
Tough ballpark anytime, and especially today if you're going to hit the ball to center field. One down in the 8th inning.
All right. How about if you trust your gut? Speaking of 272, pick the right player and get one step closer to winning. $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today. That's a lot of cake. 5.6.
Jimenez is out. He faced 2 and retired 2, and this is one-time Royals farmhand Daniel Stump. Is coming up, then Whit Merrifield. Royals fans, if you can't catch the game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in and stream the Royals. It's presented by T-Mobile. That's Fox Sports Go, HUD, just in case you're scoring at home.
Thank you, but I do know how to stream.
Daniel Stump throws ball
and
one.
I enjoy it. And you know, Kansas City Royals fans, we found out, stream on Fox Sports Go more than any other city.
Fox
Sports Go.
More than any other
region.
There you go. By far, we hear that Royals fans use the Fox Sports Go app more than anybody else. That's 1-2 on John Jay.
Stump throws hard. I mean, he's got a funky delivery. Tough to pick up. He's 6'2", 200. 90 to 95 with a cut and fastball, slider change, cutter, hard. Closes off like that. It's tough for the hitter to pick it up. It's right on you. Look at it.
He came up through the Royals farm system, a 9th round pick in 2012, and the Royals lost him twice to the Rule 5 draft. To the Phillies in 2015. He was then returned to the Royals, and then to the Tigers after the 2016 season. The Tigers were going to return him to the Royals because of the rules. The Royals did not accept him because they were going to lose him anyway. So technically he was returned, which means he could be sent down to the minor leagues. Merrifield is 1 for 4 with that ground out, and we go to the bottom of the 8th with the Tigers leading 6-1. Road trip, 40 degrees right now in Detroit. Tomorrow they're calling for a high of 42, 38 and snow on Wednesday, then an off day Thursday, and then in Cleveland over the weekend, HUD, here are the high temperatures: 39, 32 and 40.
Ooh. Well, you always flip a coin this time of year.
Kelvin Herrera is going to get some work. He'll get the 8, 9 and 1 hitters. Nico Goodrum is 0 for 3.
Fastball, slider, changeup by Herrera. Said he feels great coming out of spring, which is not good for a hitter, because that changeup there at 89 is as good as a lot of guys' fastballs. He's really strong. Going to take a little bit of time before Ned Yost and Cal Eldred can figure out what they're going to do in the pen, but they're hoping that Herrera will save 27 to 30 games maybe this year. You never know. However many he could. Get comfortable with the roles, what they're really interested in.
It's been hard for the Royals to so-called get their work in. We were discussing a few innings ago how difficult it is in baseball to go from preseason to regular season because of the weather. It's just a completely different feel. And because of the weather, it's not just how uncomfortable the players are with the cold weather, it's how many games you lose to weather. And remember, a week ago today, the Royals did not play in Omaha because of the weather. They had a day off Tuesday, a workout day Wednesday. They played Thursday, a day off Friday. They played Saturday. They were snowed out yesterday. So today is just the third game in the last 8 days for the Royals. That's not the rhythm of this sport.
Nope. And they're not used to it. Playing every single day in spring training is beautiful. Weather's nice. Both Florida and Arizona. That's why they train down there.
Herrera strikes out Goodrum, one away.
Boy, nice movement.
We were talking about Tim Hill, the Royals rookie lefty, and remember he came into the game on opening day and hit the first batter that he faced. That's one way to start your big league career. Kelvin Herrera did the same thing against the Tigers, although with him it was his very first pitch, and he drilled Ryan Rayburn.
Oh, I hope it wasn't a heater. Was it a fastball?
I'm pretty sure it was a heater.
Ooh.
And then Kelvin later also got his first major league save against the Tigers. Late on the fastball, and it's 0-2. That fastball came in at 99. You and I felt last year that some of Herrera's troubles early in the season had to do with him trying to be a three-pitch pitcher. And then I think by the end of the season, he just said to heck with it, and he went back to the 7th and 8th inning version of Kelvin Herrera and just gripped it and let it fly. Here you go.
It is. You know, fastball, changeup. 2 pitches is all you need. And really, if you talk to Mariano Rivera, he'll tell you he only used one. Hall of Fame closers, cutter.
And when I say a true three-pitch pitcher, meaning that he tried to mix those pitches on a somewhat consistent basis, as opposed to, you know, a breaking ball every now and then just to get the hitter to think, oh no, he might throw me a breaking ball. But he was throwing a lot of breaking balls and a lot of changeups and was hurt more by his secondary pitches. Martin lines it to right field. That's the 3rd time he's been on base today. And he's on with 2 down.
Yeah, I agree, and I think he agreed to that too. But you know, that first pitch there, Martin was sitting on a fastball, but he got a changeup, but he was able to stay in there long enough to hit it off the end of the bat and get a base hit. But you can't go up to the plate as a hitter looking for a secondary pitch from a guy that throws 99. Not going to work. You look for the gas and adjust to the secondary. And the secondary, if it's up, it's hittable. Big leaguers here, they don't miss. But I am happy with the pitch cast. And that's the square box that's very subtle. You can see it. It's not real big. I thought that was going to be, you know, a lot more bold white, but it's perfect. You can see the strike zone right there. So it doesn't take your attention away. You're not just looking at the square box there. It shows you the miles per hour on the pitch where it was located. It's so much more concise. Technology is doing a good job in baseball and everything else.
And specifically, that strike zone within that box is at the front of the plate. So that's where the ball is crossing the plate. It's not in the middle of the plate or the back of the plate, but on the front plane of home plate. Herrera gives up a single and he strikes out the side. The Royals are down by 5 as they come up in the 9th.
Or lose. Jeff Montgomery will join me down here to break it all down. Coming up on Boulevard Royals Live, Eski's extra effort. As Hud would say, he is on the board. Couple of hits for Eski, first 2 of the year. We'll talk about that, reaction from the clubhouse, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, Joel, here is Warwick Saupold from Australia. He played on Team Australia last year in the World Baseball Classic.
Yep, old Warwick, 6'1", 227 years old, 90-95 mile-an-hour fastball. Has some sink to it, slider change.
Moustakas is 0 for 3, which includes a fly out to deep center field. He'll be followed by Cuthbert, who's in there for Lucas Duda. Duda came out before the bottom of the 7th inning with tightness in his right hamstring. And then Paulo Orlando will bat 3rd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bat breaks in half, and Martin chases it down in center field. 1 away. He's been busy today.
Man, that ball went a long way for a bat to split in half like that. Usually it's off the hands or off the end of the bat, and it didn't go very far, but he barreled that pretty well. Huh.
That might have just been a defective bat.
Maybe so. I didn't know there was such a thing nowadays with the maple and ash. But the maples are harder.
Cuthbert hits for the first time. Chesler was 2 out of 5 in the White Sox series, with a couple of runs driven in and a walk. Two and one. Three balls, one strike. That is between Candelario and Goodrum. So Chesler is 3 for 6 to begin the year, and he's on with 1 out. Paulo had an infield single back in the second inning. Fastball over the outside edge. Told you the story last year. Saupold, growing up in Australia, used Peter Moylan as a role model. Good to see that Peter hooked on with somebody this year, going back to the Braves where his big league career started.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear Pete sign up. And it's nice to be a role model.
One and two.
There's been some Australians successful in this league, though, over the years. I remember Craig Shipley, a good infielder, played around. He might have got 10 years in.
Royals have had a few Australians over the years. Justin Huber, played first base for a while. Graham Lloyd came over in a trade.
He might be
in 03.
He might be the most talented. Maybe got the most time.
Yeah.
He was a reliever for a long time for the Brewers.
He didn't play for the Royals, but Dave Nielsen had a long career. Remember him? Left-hand batter.
Catcher. Yeah.
Chopped out to short. And a double play. The Royals might take another look at that. From up here, it looked like Paulo beat the throw, and Paulo isn't so quick to leave the field. So the celebration begins in the crowd, but the Tigers aren't shaking hands yet.
Well, and you know, as cold as it is, Phil Cuzzy, he's saying, you know what, let's take it on home to the house. So,
and the Royals are going to challenge.
Yeah, that's good hustle.
Yeah, the umpires continue to look like they're going to walk off the field, but I think they realize right away where replay was.
So the Tigers opening day, they thought they won the game and walked off a game here, and they, on a replay they changed the call and they lost the game in extra innings. So
what was it? The home plate umpire called the runner safe,
right?
And it looked like it was going to be a walk-off.
And then
replay.
Clint Hurdle saw they touched his hand before he got into safe at home, and then, you know, the Detroit and their crowd are all celebrating. It's a walk-off. Everybody's all fired up, and they go, "Oh no, we're going to redo it."
The beauty of it all, not from Ron Gardenhire's perspective, but from a fan's perspective, was that after the call was reversed, Ron Gardenhire came out and argued with the guy who had said he was safe and got thrown out.
So he's safe again right here.
So he was, here we go. So this was going to end the game. Safe, ball game over.
He touched his arm.
And then on the review, they said he was out. So Ron Gardenhire comes out and argues and gets thrown out by the guy who first said he was safe. And you can imagine the umpire saying, don't get mad at me. I said he was safe. It was the guy in New York who said he was out. But I think once you start kicking dirt on the plate, that's an automatic trip to the showers. So it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. And now Paulo will move up to second base on indifference. And it's ball one on Soler. First time that the Royals have had a runner at second base and Sophold has come into the game. So it looked like he and McCann were on the same page with their series of signs. Noticing more and more hitters, Hud, are wearing that face guard, and that was forever reserved for a player who had been hit in the face. Soler is like a lot of players today who has never been hit in the face by a pitch, but have decided they want to keep it that way.
Yep.
So you see more and more. Alcides Escobar has a helmet with a little extra protection for the left side of the face.
Yeah, and I've noticed several Tigers.
Mike Trout.
Yep. Miguel Cabrera for the first time this year is wearing one. Castellanos.
Shallow right field. Castellanos will make the play. Ron Gardenhire gets his first win as manager of the Tigers. They are 1-3. The Royals remain winless. They are 0-3. So 6-1 is our final score. We'll be right back.